Together, we build sustainable communities, working on behalf of the people we serve, ensuring the successful delivery of every project, providing the most vital services that keep our communities moving forward. Together, we connect people and data systems to create a better vision for the work ahead, helping save valuable time and money, powering projects with confidence so that everyone can work, grow, and thrive. Together, we empower location intelligence to prioritize the right resources, streamlining how we design, construct, operate, and maintain across the asset lifecycle, so teams can realize boundless potential. Together, we drive innovation with expertise and actionable data insights to build and maintain more efficient infrastructure that ensure our local communities are resilient, sustainable, and safe. Together, we're shaping the future by accelerating transformation, boosting productivity, reducing risk, and improving quality. Together, we transform the way the world works.
And now, welcome to the stage, George Mastakas and Becky Tamaski.
Welcome, everyone. It's been a little while since we've been together in person.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Awesome. The pandemic changed how we did business in so many ways. We learned to connect virtually almost overnight. Even though we were unable to see each other in person, we managed to maintain the connections that are so essential to our mutual success.
Events like Converge and our virtual conference last year kept us connected to each other, and they enabled us to share the stories of innovation that have always been a hallmark of Innovate. But we're so excited to be here today and connect in person. And I just have to say, last night, Expo Social, it was awesome to see so many of you get in person. The hugs, the fist bumps, just the catching up, it was amazing. The energy was off the roof.
Absolutely. We have many new customers here experiencing Innovate for the very first time. In fact, raise of hands, how many of you are here for the very first time? Okay, awesome. This conference is a place for you to learn, connect, and share your experiences. You'll be able to learn from the experiences of other customers, partners, and subject matter experts. And all of you will have the opportunity to connect with like-minded professionals and bring back ideas to your communities.
As you know, Cityworks became part of the Trimble family 3 years ago. And we're really excited about this chapter in the Cityworks stories and the opportunities that this has brought to our customers. Trimble's been a long-time strategic partner and supporter of Cityworks. And joining the Trimble family has opened new doors to a variety of technologies and partnerships that we're going to be sharing with you this week.
And our future would not be possible without the work of Brian Haslam, Cityworks founder. Remember him? Yeah. His vision and lifetime of dedication to GIS and Cityworks paved the way for GIS-centric asset management, and his vision continues to inform us. This year, Brian retired. We'd like to take a moment to recognize him for his dedication to Cityworks. Brian, would you mind standing so we can acknowledge you and the work you did over the past 28 years? Thanks, Brian. Still a rock star. Brian will be around, so if you see him, be sure to say hi, shake his hand, and perhaps share a bit of what Cityworks has meant to you and your community. And speaking of influential people, we lost a great friend and colleague this year. Many of you knew Josh Stressner and worked closely with him. As we go through this week, we do so with him on our mind, and we're going to share this moment with Josh's family, so please join me in a big round of applause to celebrate him. Wonderful, thank you. And of course, we'd like to take a moment to recognize our partners and their contributions to the success of Cityworks in your communities. We are stronger when we collaborate with each other, and Cityworks is stronger because of our partners. And we'd like to thank all of our sponsors who make this conference a success. And a special thank you to our platinum sponsors, Esri, Centricity, Eagleview, Woolpert, Power Engineers. Thank you all. Okay, in just a few minutes, we'll have the opportunity to hear from Rob Painter, CEO of Trimble. He will share insights on why Cityworks and Trimble align so well and highlight the opportunities that lie ahead of us. As each of you are valuable members of the Cityworks user community, you're also a part of the Trimble community. For over 2 decades, we have dedicated ourselves to public asset management, leading the way in developing best practices for your organizations. From Trimble Unity and Vegetation Manager to now expanding our offerings with eBuilder for design and build and Pavement Express for pavement management, the Cityworks platform is much larger. And as we venture into this further, we remain committed to Esri and empowering GIS. It's who you are, it's who Trimble is, and together we will continue to support the amazing work you do.
So as part of our vision for the future, we've brought the entirety of Trimble's asset lifecycle management solutions here this week. You'll be able to speak with Trimble Utilities, eBuilder, and Agile Assets to learn more about their platforms and how data from these solutions and Cityworks can connect together. And as we build these connected solutions, we're looking towards a digital future where data silos are eliminated. And as stewards of public infrastructure, we're helping to build a digital government platform to ensure that public trust is maintained and organizations are able to do their jobs with the informed agility provided by a true digital ecosystem. All of this together will create the solutions that you need as you navigate aging infrastructure and machinery, changes in community needs, and budgetary constraints. We're working to ensure that you're at the forefront of modernization. Because you are the innovators. You're the ones making this happen and changing the way that communities are operated and built. And you're the ones driving innovation, making the data flow between your teams, and making a real impact on how your communities grow and thrive. And as global conditions impact your residents, from natural disasters to the pandemic to population shifts, you're constantly faced with local challenges. It's never ending. And security and data breaches continue to loom large. Infrastructure funding provides new opportunities, but it's often not enough to make all the improvements that you would like, and as such, compromises must be made. Legacy workflows and human resource deficits present workplace challenges that can limit what you're able to accomplish. So we envision a world where these challenges become opportunities for digital innovation.
And Becky, to that very point, let me add, we are well beyond the time of managing the actual bits and bytes of software. More and more organizations are transitioning to SaaS offerings that provide easy deployment and regular updates with greater security and ease of use. By erasing the burden of technology management, SaaS allows you to focus your time on achieving desired outcomes since it's a much more collaborative environment. So here's a pro tip. If you haven't looked into Cityworks Online, use this conference as an opportunity to do so.
Over the next few days, we'll be exploring the myriad ways that Cityworks is looking toward the future. You've traveled here from all over the US and from around the world. There are over 1,000 attendees here in this room, representing thousands of users. And all of those users have a huge impact on millions of people in communities around the globe. Your work in support of every department and organization, from public works, utilities, transportation, parks, airports, community development, city management, and many more, are all represented here together this week. And so we're all here to make new connections, learn and share from each other. So let's go ahead and get started. So I invite you to take a few minutes, stand up, and say hello to somebody that you don't know. Introduce yourself, share why you're here and what you're hoping to learn this week, and hear what their reasons are as well.
Well done, everyone. It really is great to be back in person after such a long time away from each other. It's amazing to see everyone in the same room again, and I'm excited for you to meet our first speaker. Rob Painter has been with Trimble for 17 years and became CEO in January 2020, 1 month after the last time we all met here, and 1 month before that pandemic that would change everything. His vision for Trimble is inspiring, and we are thrilled to have him share it with you. Rob?
Imagine building a 637-meter long bridge. Now imagine being the project owner for that bridge. A project owner that requires model-based design, approval, and construction in one collaboration platform. Imagine this project requires the owner, the contractor, and the consultant to share the models to make the construction more efficient and to deliver better quality, all while saving cost. This is actually how the Norwegian Public Roads Administration works. And they do it by working in a Trimble-enabled technology environment. The bridge you see in the video is the Ranselva Bridge. It's outside of Oslo, Norway, and it opened in August of this year. This is exactly how the project was organized. And this project was done entirely in 3D, enabled by Trimble constructible modeling software, from Trimble Tekla to Trimble Connect to Trimble Sight Vision. No two-dimensional drawings, none. Every single object in this model has data connected to it. For example, 250,000 individual pieces of reinforcing bars and 250 long-span steel cables. Teams in 5 countries collaborated off of this same model to design and construct this bridge. In the end, technology helped enable this project to save 10% of total project costs. Imagine digitally managing the construction of your assets with this level of precision and collaboration across all of your stakeholders. This is what we do at Trimble. Now imagine being able to take your design work, take that design work out into the field, to see your design in context before you build, and being able to collaborate and edit those models in the field. In April of this year, we launched SketchUp for iPad. Let's take a look. With this release, we've put an extraordinary 3D modeling and collaboration solution in your hands that allows you to communicate better and work more effectively, whether you're in the office or you're in the field. You can view your designs in augmented reality, you can take measurements, and you can mark up your 3D models. Connecting your work wherever it happens, this is what we do. Now imagine being able to see the subterranean for your water and wastewater, or your telecom utilities prior to digging, or potential hazards from overgrowth or diseased trees that could impact the power lines, or visualizing the entire road project and seeing the potential risks before the construction begins. You don't have to imagine, because this is what we do today with Trimble Sight Vision. Let's take a look. Sight Vision integrates a high-accuracy GPS receiver onto a smartphone, and it brings the power of augmented reality out to the field. And a number of you here today, a number of organizations are using Sight Vision, and your feedback on this is inspiring us to keep investing into this technology that is connecting the physical and the digital worlds. So good morning and welcome to Salt Lake City. Welcome to the conference. Becky mentioned it's been 3 years since the acquisition. Fun fact, do you know that it has been 1,146 days exactly since Cityworks joined Trimble? And a lot of things have changed over that time frame. Let's think about the pace of that change. Consider this quote: "The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again." This is where we are, and this is why we're here together. So let's explore this. Since we last met, every single day, the world produces 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every single day. And this is only accelerating with the Internet of Things. In fact, over the last 2 years, 90% of the data that exists in the world was generated. And this is why we are so focused on investing in cloud-connected technology at Trimble. Since we last met, global forecasts now estimate that we'll have $79 trillion in global infrastructure investment in the next 15 years. In the US alone, we know about the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed in the last couple of years. So while we manage through near-term economic turbulence that we keep hearing about, we can't avoid hearing about this at the moment, let's keep our eye on the long game, because we're collectively sitting on an incredible opportunity. Now, at the same time, we have a responsibility to shape the face of our planet and our economy for the decades to come. One where we can bring technology to deliver these products with higher levels of productivity and sustainability. And speaking of sustainability, it has come into much sharper focus in the last few years that we must act together to combat climate change. Fact, global CO2 emissions are at an all-time high, and construction produces a quarter of global emissions. Another fact, thousands of companies, including Trimble, are stepping up to the challenge to reduce emissions through setting science-based reduction goals. Now, many of you in the audience have told us that climate is at the top of your agenda. And the good news is that many of you in the room are driving sustainability, and you may not even know it, because our technology can deliver 30% plus efficiency gains. And if fully adopted globally, could prevent hundreds of millions of metric tons of carbon emissions from entering the atmosphere every single year. And that's the annual emissions of Germany, Italy, and France combined. Our solutions are here to help show the industry how it can lead. And then there's innovation. We don't just talk about innovation at Trimble because talk is cheap. We're putting money to work to deliver technology that is connecting the physical and the digital worlds. Over the last 4 years, we've put almost $2 billion into research and development. Now, since we last met, we pivoted to our Connect and Scale strategy. Connect and Scale was born out of conversations with many of you. We've listened to your collective voice to gain a better understanding of the challenges that you face, and then we've converted that into our strategic path forward, which is really about further unlocking what is already special and unique about Trimble. The Connect part of Connect and Scale compels us to intersect your work in the office with your work in the field. That is to connect your physical and digital worlds in ways that only we can do with our office software and our field technologies, thereby dynamically linking your project stakeholders, your data, and your workflow towards more predictable, profitable, and sustainable outcomes. The Scale part of Connect and Scale is about modernizing and simplifying how we do business together on a global level. It's about making it easier for you to access our connected solutions. And Connect and Scale puts customers and users at the center of our universe. And our ambition is to build the best industry cloud on the planet, a technology platform that's fortified by a connected data environment that is extensible for anybody to improve upon and open to anyone you choose to work with on your projects. This strategy also builds upon what is so special and unique about Trimble. And connecting at Trimble starts with every single one of you here. From there, it involves thousands, millions, billions, and trillions. Thousands. We have hundreds of thousands of machines and instruments in the field today. Millions. We have tens of millions of users of Trimble software around the world. Billions. We manage over $500 billion of projects through our financial management solutions today. And what's better than $1 billion? $1 trillion. We manage over $1 trillion of committed construction projects through Trimble today. So Connect and Scale builds on this breadth and the reach of Trimble and intersects that with our underlying technology stack. So whether you use words like IoT, digital twin, metaverse, industrial metaverse, or my favorites, the Trimbleverse, it's all about connecting work in the field with work in the office. It's about connecting the physical and the digital worlds. Now, since we're at a technology conference, let's talk about some technology. Because we think the story of Trimble and the magic of Trimble happens at the intersection of the where, the what, and the why. Where speaks to our roots in positioning and sensing technologies. It's really the origin story of Trimble. This is giving a field worker that precise geolocation data. And think about that as the geometry, that location, that geometry around that. Now, since we last met, we've created totally new categories of positioning solutions, from mobile mapping to GNSS receivers to 3D laser scanners to handheld data collectors. We're enabling our customers to build that digital model of the physical Earth. The what of our technology stack manifests in high-precision software modeling. Think about adding attributes to the geometry and carrying that throughout the life cycle of a project. It's that example from the Rensselaer Bridge where every single object in that model has data connected to it. It's adding the work order to that geometry for the field worker. Now, since we last met, we've continued innovating on our modeling technologies, and we've continued to acquire businesses to strengthen the portfolio. Now, as we talk to you, what you are asking us to do is bring the where and the what together to solve your higher order problems. And this represents the why in our technology stack. The why is about leveraging all this data to analyze and optimize your business outcomes. It's about helping you move from optimizing tasks to optimizing systems. It's seeing that field worker with the work order and seeing that that is actually part of a much bigger puzzle that needs to be optimized. The why is about connecting stakeholders, data, and workflow. It's about asset lifecycle management so that you can achieve higher levels of productivity, safety, quality, transparency, and sustainability. Now, in order for us to create these connected workflows, we are partnering more than ever. Sometimes that means partnering with competitors. It also means partnering with companies who can help us extend our capabilities. And one of those capabilities we felt like we needed to extend was in the cloud computing ecosystem. Now, we're a multi-cloud company because we live in a multi-cloud world, and we've got an obligation to meet our customers where they are. And 1 year ago, we extended and deepened our relationship with Microsoft. For years, we've been fostering a trusted relationship with them, and we've demonstrated a long track record of co-development and joint product releases. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Satya Nadella, who's Microsoft's CEO, you're familiar with the remarkable turnaround journey that he has led over the last few years for this iconic company. And there's a reason he's considered one of the best CEOs in the world. And so speaking of Satya, it is now my pleasure to virtually introduce you to Satya to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Rob. Without question, we are living through a period of historic economic, societal, and technological change. But for all the uncertainty we continue to see in the world, one thing is super clear. Organizations in every industry are turning to digital technology to help them do more with less so that they can navigate this change and emerge stronger. There's no better example of this than construction. There is such an incredible opportunity to use digital technology across the entire construction project workflow to transform and significantly improve productivity, safety, quality, transparency, as well as sustainability. That's why our strategic partnership with Trimble is so important. Together, we are helping develop, build, and deliver industry cloud platform that bring together the physical and digital worlds. We're combining Trimble's deep industry domain knowledge and technical expertise with Microsoft's best-in-class cloud infrastructure to connect people, technology, workflows, data, and processes for organizations around the world. And we're doing it faster and more efficiently than ever before, all with less impact on our planet. This is just the beginning. In a world facing increasing headwinds, digital technology is the ultimate tailwind. As the world continues to rapidly change and digitize together, we will continue to help organizations use technology to overcome constraints and do more with less. And I look forward to how our partnership will grow in the years ahead. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
So let's give a big virtual thank you to Satya. As I bring my opening comments to a close, what I'd like you to take away is that we continue to invest in our connected technology stack. We're building on the scope and the scale of Trimble. We're building industry clouds with the help of Microsoft to connect your data and your workflows. And we're doing that to help you enable you to do your life's work and to enable you to do your work better, faster, safer, cheaper, greener. So thank you for being here, and more importantly, thank you for what you do. Your work makes the lives of your communities better. Your work is inspiring, your work is innovative, and your work inspires us with purpose. Together, we've got this. Thank you. Becky?
Thank you so much, Rob, for speaking with us today. And we're so excited to be part of Trimble and making what is being imagined a reality. And that reality is one that must be approached with thoughtfulness and consideration for the many disparate needs of our customers. We all learned during the COVID-19 pandemic that we were not adequately prepared for a future in which meetings, business, and day-to-day life would be conducted virtually. Traditional models of public engagement had to radically shift in order to maintain resilience in the face of a workforce separated from each other and from their constituents. A digital transformation was already underway in many organizations, but the pandemic accelerated that adoption out of necessity. However, rapid transformation often led organizations into the trap of creating data silos. Issues that were small regarding data accessibility were quickly amplified, as a rapid shift caused existing problems to be glossed over in favor of quick adoption of solutions. But the solution to this is connected platforms that share data, delivering an overall picture of a project that allows for multiple stakeholder groups to both view and contribute information. Agile digital architecture that responds to customer needs as they develop and change is essential to any discussion of the future of the public sector. So we must shift from a reactive approach to changing needs to a predictive model of what the future may demand while still maintaining a strong proactive approach to the present. We must focus on sustainability for our communities by creating sustainable digital solutions that share data across platforms and provide intelligent metrics by which to make informed decisions. We'll now hear from Cindy Hoagland, the Senior Vice President of Trimble's Owner and Public Sector, which includes Cityworks, as she shares Trimble's vision for a connected future.
Well, good morning, everyone. So happy to see you here. Let me just start by echoing a warm welcome that you've heard from my Trimble colleagues. I am truly grateful to see all of you here in person today. I've had the pleasure of being a part of Trimble for over 17 years, and I've personally experienced Trimble's enormous growth from 2,400 employees with our technology used in only 18 countries to over 11,500 employees in over 150 countries where our customers are utilizing our technology today. It's been an amazing journey, and I would like to thank you all, our customers and our partners, for trusting in Cityworks and in trusting in Trimble over the years. One of the themes that we've already seen in action here at Innovate is that we're better together. We're better together in person, we're better together virtually, and we're better when we work together towards shared goals and shared successes. Now, I know that all of you are here because you want to use technology to better deliver your solutions today and deliver more reliable outcomes for your organizations and for your communities, and to contribute to a more resilient, safe, and sustainable world. Over the next couple of days, you'll hear from many of your peers who are achieving the same success and solving the same problems that you are facing in your counties and in your cities and in your utilities. And you'll also have the opportunity to see the new and exciting technologies that the broader Trimble organization has to deliver. As you just heard from Rob, there is no better time for digital transformation than right now. And the magic of Trimble happens at the intersection of the where and the what and the why. So what do we do in the owner and the public sector? We deliver asset lifecycle management solutions for enterprise asset management and digital project delivery. We are connecting those two worlds with a living digital twin that you can reference throughout the asset lifecycle. And why do we do this? We do it to help you be better stewards than what you do today. We want to help you to maximize capital budgets get the most from your O&M budgets, improve worker safety, and to create jobs in the community, all while staying green and more sustainable. And why? Because you take the long view perspective, a GIS asset-centric view, and you manage these assets longer than anyone else. Where is all this done? In the field as well as in the office. And at Trimble, we don't think that one can operate without the other. You need hardware and technology for the field to improve your fidelity about your assets in the office. When we do all three of these, the what, the where, and the why, you, our customers, succeed. Because you take an asset lifecycle management approach to managing your assets today. And you've told us that you're looking for technology that is interoperable and open to achieve this goal. And we hear you, and we want to drive this innovation with you. Trimble is a purpose-driven company. And for 45 years, we have been helping customers like you, asset owners and operators in public sector, to deliver and to maintain safer, more cost-efficient, more sustainable assets for our communities. And so over the past 5 years, Trimble has acquired market-leading companies with purpose-built solutions designed specifically for asset owners and for public sector in order to complement our portfolio. These great companies that we've acquired have allowed us to expand our ability to connect the data, the people, and the process between the field and in the office, all to provide you with better value. In 2018, we brought eBuilder into the family with an owner-centric project management and capital planning solution. In 2019, we brought Cityworks into the family, the leading GIS-centric enterprise asset management solution with the very best customers in the world, I might say. And in 2021, we added Agile Assets, the most trusted enterprise asset management solution for transportation infrastructure. All totaled, Trimble technology is now used to manage billions of assets. Our software is used to serve well over 80 million citizens. Our technology is used to manage over $1 trillion in capital improvement programs. And we help to asset manage over 1.1 million lane miles. Our technology is now used in 48 of 52 DOTs, 143 counties, 459 cities and municipalities, and over 144 utilities. That makes Trimble one of the most trusted technology providers to public agencies and to utilities. Thank you. And so my point is that we value our partnership with you. We stand in awe of what you do for your communities. And your partnership with us makes a true impact on communities around the country. And we couldn't be more proud to be partners with you, and we actually marvel at the better quality of life that you are delivering. That is purposeful. I'd like to take a moment to broaden your perspective on what we can accomplish together. With your investment in Cityworks already, you have entrusted us with permitting, with inventory management, with risk assessment, inspection, planning, and of course, work orders. But what you may not know is that Trimble also has capabilities in construction, project management, contract administration, capital improvement program cost controls. We go even further to offer 3D design, BIM collaboration tools, and digital twin capabilities. And we even go where no other software company has gone before, and we deliver connected survey equipment, IoT devices, and machine control. So my point in this is that our technology actually spans as a family across the entire asset lifecycle, from cradle to grave, across design, construct, operate, and maintain stages. What makes us different and innovative is Trimble's domain expertise in capturing and processing geospatial information, construction, project management, and asset maintenance data. That allows us to uniquely publish living digital twins of your assets and to deliver to you an asset lifecycle management cloud solution. As we've gotten to know our customers and learn from our customers and understand the challenges that they're facing, a pattern has begun to emerge. What you've shared with us is that there is a major disconnect between two worlds. What they think should happen regarding information about assets is actually quite different from reality. Take a look. Most built assets are created in a life cycle starting with capital planning, then moving to design. They get built, they move to operations and maintenance. In an ideal world, a public agency's knowledge about their assets should increase in a linear fashion over the life cycle of that asset. As you design, you build, and you operate and maintain those assets, the fidelity and the accuracy of that information about that asset should grow. This increases the value of the information that you have so that you can make better decisions. But that's actually not the reality for most organizations today. Time and time again, customers who own and manage these assets share with us that there's still a big step back in productivity each time there's a handoff between each of these phases. And in reality, that data of that asset is actually not growing because we're actually recreating it for each of these phases because the data is not readily accessible in a digital format to easily transform to each of these stages. Lots of reasons for this: paper-based data, disconnected applications, different people of teams and different organizations and departments all contribute to this dynamic today. And most leaders admit that there are large disconnections just between design and construct to the handover to operations and maintenance. Show of hands if this is a problem for you and your organization today. So stay tuned, because Becky is actually going to address this in more detail later today. And you're also not alone in this challenge. I'd like to actually highlight a few insights from a recently released research report from Dodge Data and Analytics. The report is focused on stewards of infrastructure and where they stood in terms of digital transformation relative to their assets. And here's what they learned. 54% of agencies are highly engaged in digitizing their workflows. This is great. Over half are already doing something. In this room, that's probably much closer to almost 100%. Even more encouraging is that 69% of organizations are contractually specifying the use of digital technologies with their vendors. That means that more and more asset owners and operators are leaning into their partners to have them use these digital technologies. That's also very good. However, the last bullet point represents the opportunity. While 60% of you are using digital workflows internally, only 28% of you are collaborating with your partners using connected workflows. The opportunity for us today is to close that gap, to eliminate the data silos, and to connect the various areas of your work to help you to get that information when you need it, where you need it, in digital form so that you can be productive. At Trimble, we're inspired to connect disconnected industries. As you've heard, there's a problem between how these owners and operators see the world when it comes to an asset and how their valued partners see the world. One sees assets for the long term, one sees projects. And as a result, the data is not often shared or exchanged seamlessly as it should. So what's the next best thing that's coming up for adopters of ArcGIS and Cityworks? Well, we believe it's to get you to the next level of efficiency, of quality, and of safety in managing the entire life cycle by leveraging model-based data that can be used throughout the entire asset life cycle. This includes how the asset was designed, how it was actually constructed, known as the as-built, what materials were used, what the cost was, the repairs, and much, much more. You have already invested in Cityworks technology, and we are now working to extend the Cityworks platform to leverage this data by connecting the worlds of asset management and project delivery. unified digital workflows that connect the design to construct, to operate, and maintain stages will help organizations to do more with the same level of resources that you have today and to be even better stewards. For Trimble, our goal is simple: to deliver the gold standard and asset lifecycle management solutions through innovative, open, collaborative platforms that make asset data available from cradle to grave. Now, the owner and public sector was created and inspired by all of you. And I just love this quote from the city of Nashville, because it validates that with shared vision and innovation that we can create together. We saw that across the technology platform, our technology platform, and that of our valued partners like Esri, that we had the core technology and we had the domain expertise to make this dream a reality. Esri provides the core GIS foundation. Trimble provides the domain expertise in BIM, in construction, in geospatial, in enterprise asset management, and in digital project delivery. And we're already working together to provide the interoperability between these puzzle pieces that you've invested in today. Now, if we were to connect these systems and provide integrated 3D model-based asset management workflows, and you could reference a digital twin throughout your entire phase of those life cycles, we could eliminate the asset knowledge data gap that I showed earlier. And we can provide an asset management platform where all of your information is centralized and accessible when you need it. Exciting stuff. We also acknowledge that technology alone doesn't get us there. It's about the people, and it's about you all here. And the shared vision and the purpose, that's how innovation happens. And that's what we admire so much about all of you. And we want to team with you to innovate, to integrate, to simplify your process so that you can scale your operations better, faster, cheaper, safer. You've already begun your digital transformation journey. Now is the time to accelerate those efforts, and here's why. $1.2 trillion in infrastructure funding is coming our way. 60% of that is expected to hit in 2023 and 2024. 85% of public agencies are expected to have significant increases in project volume. To deliver on the increased work orders and the reporting expectations that you will have, agencies are also going to look to hire. But that has also been more difficult and harder to find people than ever before. The shortage of workers is hitting public agencies quite hard. Just as many seasoned professionals have reached retirement, and others are beginning to look at recruitment from private industry. So the bottom line, this is the perfect storm, and it demands step-level improvements from all of us in productivity and in transparency. And that's where lifecycle technology comes in, and we're here to help to get you there. So now is the time for all of us to act together, to be great stewards for our communities, and to help us to build and maintain better, safer, more resilient infrastructure for future generations to manage. And I want to remind you of something. This industry is looking to you in this room for leadership. Your engineering firms, your contractors, your suppliers, they all want to serve you well. And just as you describe to them what you want them to build, you should also be describing the information that you need and how you want that information so that you can better manage more efficiently the assets that you are the stewards for. It's up to you to create the home for your asset lifecycle management platform. And we will be there, and you can trust Trimble to help you to get there. So I'd like to thank you for spending your time with us. I look forward to having an opportunity to meet many of you over the next couple days, so enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. And as you've heard, Trimble's leadership is creating the structure and technology needed to forge a connected future. They've listened to you, and we've listened to you. Over my years at Cityworks, I've spent time with so many of you, our customers. and I've enjoyed hearing you share the developments that will benefit you. The teams that I work with now continue to share your insights every day, and we learn from them and use that information to inform our decisions. We work to understand what you need to be successful in your communities and provide you with the tools to support your operations. We know this isn't just a job for you. These communities are where you live and work. So for you, success is more than just doing your job well. It's measured by making your community better. And we're striving to make that easier for you. With the organizational solutions that Cindy just described, we're developing offerings that connect your physical and digital worlds, bringing together technology and infrastructure in new ways to build a complete asset lifecycle management solution. This solution provides a GI-centric approach to the complete asset lifecycles, from ideation to maintenance, ensuring that every component is mapped, each work order is cataloged, and all resources are recorded and every change is detailed along the way. Failure rates can be analyzed, maintenance prioritized, and costs maintained all in one place. So we've spoken a lot this morning about digital transformation, and the reason is clear. We know that siloed legacy systems and inefficient business processes increase risks and exacerbate challenges in data sharing and service delivery. It's more difficult to do business, share information, and work with constituents and stakeholders when your systems aren't working together. You're leading the way as Cityworks customers in adopting this digital forward approach. And we are working to deliver value through the use of emerging technologies, such as 3D data capture, and the data to create a holistic picture of your assets and provide you with the tools that you need to manage towns, cities, and municipal services effectively. And in the past, I've described these initiatives as efforts around smart cities and data transparency. And the pandemic accelerated digital initiatives dramatically across all sectors when faced with these operational disruptions. The challenge now is to sustain and scale these initiatives and continue that forward momentum. So just one example of this, recently I was on a webinar where the city of Sarnia, Ontario, discussed how their paper-based review processes for plan review was inadequate in the pandemic. And that accelerated their adoption of new technologies. So fast forward to today, and they now use Evolve, formerly Digiplan, integrated with Cityworks PLL to facilitate plan reviews, increasing efficiency while also eliminating the need for face-to-face interactions, which is something that was critical for many during the pandemic. They were able to identify methods during the pandemic that accelerated their digital adoption, and today they're still actively engaged to keep progressing that vision. Even before the formation of the owner and public sector, Cityworks was actively working to develop solutions to support the various stages of the asset lifecycle. With PLL, we provided the capabilities to start the community development process, and with AMS, we provided the capabilities to maintain the assets once they were operational. There were gaps in between, though, and all of you asked for capabilities that covered capital project planning, 3D design, and all the stages that occur in between. Fundamentally, asset lifecycle management, or ALM, is a series of building blocks, with each block a solution with integration touch points. The solutions that we can now provide through the owner and public sector, which includes eBuilder, Agile Assets, Trimble Utilities, along with Cityworks, help to complete those gaps. They facilitate communication between departments, allowing data to be shared automatically, and providing valuable insights that help you to utilize resources more effectively. Tomorrow, in the next plenary, you'll hear about the work that's gone into place to support this unprecedented level of Cityworks connectivity, including the modernization of the framework that supports the Cityworks platform and the addition of all the new capabilities across that platform. But ALM is about more than the applications of this sector coming together. It's a continuum of collaboration. As you can see, it's about technology from throughout Trimble coming together to provide a robust collection of solutions that build a complete asset picture. It's leveraging Trimble hardware solutions for accurate data collection. And it's utilizing Trimble software solutions like what Rob showed, like SketchUp for design. It's about connecting the broader ecosystem in which you conduct business so that all these pieces can work together. And as Trimble customers, you can reap the benefits of this globally preeminent asset lifecycle management platform for digital project delivery and enterprise asset management. You also have the added advantage of using solutions that are built on an open, modular, and extensible platform that captures, compiles, and extends data via connected workflows powered by a common data environment. So we've spoken a lot at Cityworks about connected workflows, internally and with all of you. This is the next step. With a connected digital platform in which data silos are eliminated and departments are able to communicate effectively, the possibilities for innovation are endless. To be honest, when we think about it, there's no limit to what can be imagined here. And in addition to the various Trimble solutions that can now be connected to Cityworks to facilitate a complete ALM solution, there's collaboration and interoperability with a number of essential business systems, including Esri, Autodesk, and Microsoft, all aligned to deliver high-value solutions. So one example of what this would look like would be in relation to permitting. In the past, Cityworks has provided the capabilities at the beginning of the asset lifecycle with Cityworks PLL. And in this connected platform, those permits would now transition to support the design and construction processes. The assets from the construction process would transition to the Cityworks asset management system for operation and maintenance, with interaction taking place along the way with capital project planning. While this is a simplified view, this process highlights the possibilities of digital connectivity, allowing solutions to work together to ensure accurate data transfer and seamless interaction between departments. The main stage presentations tomorrow, as well as the multiple breakout sessions over the next few days, will provide you with the opportunity to explore these offerings in greater detail and understand how these applications are additive and close the gaps in the asset lifecycle. But I'd also like to dive into the exponential value of connected workflows. When we started developing cross-platform connected workflows, we reached out to many of you to understand how you were already using the various technologies provided by Trimble. In some of your organizations, the teams administering or using the applications overlapped. But in many instances, that was not the case. It was not uncommon to find groups leveraging Trimble technologies at absolutely different ends of the organization, never having heard of the other solutions being utilized or ever even spoken with the other staff in the organization. And that presents a challenge, and it's one that's going to take all of us to solve. Your teams are interacting with infrastructure across various stages, from planning to design to building and then maintenance. But while a team may only focus on one of those steps, they need the data that's collected from each previous step to inform their workflow. And then they need to take that information and utilize it further on in the process. But when that data does not migrate automatically, the risks that it might be lost across each interaction increase exponentially. So this slide, which you first saw during Cindy's presentation, shows what occurs when data migration is not automated. With each handoff in the process across the asset lifecycle, data is lost. And this is referred to as dark data. It's data that exists, but that nobody can access. And because nobody's quite sure where it is, that data must then be rebuilt in the system. And that takes time, and it costs money, and it runs the risk of still not being truly complete or accurate. And we've heard your need to connect the stages of the asset lifecycle, and we've worked to create robust solutions to allow the data in your systems to participate across those connected workflows. And with this implemented, you can see how the value of asset data grows over time. Its informative value increases as the amount of data that's added to the asset's record increases. Dark data prevents the exponential value growth from occurring, robbing you from valuable insights. Connected solutions are the key to ensuring your data grows in value over the asset lifecycle. We know that many users and administrators prefer to stay in the application where they're most familiar, the one that they use daily to support their business workflows. But the overhead burden for our customers to connect solutions by manually entering data across applications is very high. And that's where Cityworks and the Trimble platform comes in. By providing workflows and solutions that allow users at every stage of the asset lifecycle to view the data about how that asset was constructed, view it in 3D, and then understand how and where it's located in relation to other infrastructure, while also viewing the activities and resources associated. It's possible to use all that data consolidated across those stages to make the best informed decisions for the future.
Becky, that's some great perspective. When we started this journey more than 26 years ago, we couldn't have imagined the destination that Cindy and Becky just described. Back then, assets existed in paper or in rows of cryptic databases. Maintenance management software was siloed and closed and only available to the back office users. And your field work was captured on paper. The repeating theme we heard from you was, I want to use my GIS. You were leveraging Esri ArcGIS to create your maps, and you wanted it to be the system of record for your assets too. You wanted this because GIS anchors information in how you experience the physical world, and so it made sense to extend its use to be able to see your past and present work, the location of your crews, the condition of your assets, your future projects, your emergencies, and a whole host of other things. GIS also became the bridge that connected you and your citizens to meaningful data and would profoundly improve the outcomes because everyone was now motivated to participate more fully in the decisions that impact their work. From there, the idea of GIS-centric was born and Cityworks was launched. Fast forward to today, our commitment to the work you do and amplifying your gains through the use of your GIS is greater than ever and continues to increase. At the beginning, the GIS-centric approach was defined by the idea of consolidating assets in GIS in order to eliminate duplication. Today, it incorporates the practice of leveraging the geospatial applications and technologies you are invested in so that there is a singular connected platform. At this conference, you will see many examples of ArcGIS and Cityworks working together. Examples where, in the field, you leverage ArcGIS field maps to update work activities, update assets, and capture new ones. Where you've adopted the ArcGIS utility network to bring even more fidelity to your networks and to simplify the maintenance of these critical data sets. Where you're visualizing assets in 3D above and below ground so you can identify areas of risk and better plan for your projects through the use of ArcGIS Urban. You're incorporating ArcGIS indoors to get a 3D view of the inside of your buildings and the precise location of the assets that operate them. And last, but certainly not least, you're in the cloud with ArcGIS Online to maximize collaboration and security while simultaneously minimizing downtime and overhead costs. Years of building this GIS-centric foundation has allowed you to grow and streamline your workflows that improve the communities we all live in. It's a foundational element to our asset lifecycle management philosophy because it applies across all the stages of an asset's lifecycle. Each of you exists within this wheel that Becky talked about. You have your own specific needs and are at very different stages in your journey. And that's okay because our approach meets you where you are today and gives you a path into the future. And always with the intention of making the communities you serve stronger, safer, and more resilient. Today, we've invited two customers to describe their GIS-centric vision with Cityworks, Central Arkansas Water and Structon Rail. Central Arkansas Water is a 14-year customer who serves nearly 500,000 residents in the greater Little Rock area. Their work centers around the resiliency of their water infrastructure. Structon Rail comes to us all the way from Stockholm, Sweden, and their focus is the regular care of the Swedish rail networks and also those in other European countries, such as Belgium, Denmark, Italy, Norway, and the Netherlands. This is exciting because while they operate in different industries, located in different countries, they're connected in their approach of asset lifecycle management centered in GIS. I'll turn it over to our friends from Central Arkansas Water, Alex and John, to tell us more.
Thanks, George. It's such a pleasure to be here today to share with you how Central Arkansas Water utilizes GIS to follow through with our strategic mission, which is to be a resilient and trusted utility. Central Arkansas Water is a metropolitan water system that serves a population of approximately 500,000 in a service area of around 721 square miles. We're tracking around 2,700 miles of main, nearly 37,000 valves, and nearly 17,000 hydrants. And all of that with some other assets make up our system. It would be a real challenge to track all of that without the use of GIS and Cityworks. So whenever I'm asked who at CAW uses GIS, it usually takes me a minute because a lot of times, in GIS we focus on the task at hand or that next big project. We really don't stop and think about just who inside our utility is utilizing this amazing information tool. So we have multiple integrations that empower those users that you just saw on the screen to leverage GIS and Cityworks to fulfill their everyday needs. When CAW first started using Esri products, the GIS staff would edit the data, print off map books, and then send any updates out to those end users when updates needed to be made. Then in 2008, we moved end users and field staff to laptops, and we implemented Cityworks for our work order tracking. That was the data pump days, if any of you remember data pump. Then in 2018, we moved from laptops for the field personnel to iPads, which really pushed us to be a more mobile-friendly shop. Everything is live, all the data is live at their fingertips with the use of ArcGIS services and ArcGIS online web applications. So, John, can you describe to us how CAW, we do fire hydrant inspections and valve inspections?
Sure. This shift to field-based access that allows us to build an in-house solution for hydrant and valve inspections. These inspections are performed by CAW employees. The features are symbolized by inspection results and updated nightly, as you can see on the screen behind me. This empowers field workers to be more independent and frees up management time for our supervisors. Being able to keep this workflow in-house and having an efficient process that hasn't overwhelmed our workers is estimated to save CAW over $1 million.
CAW has also utilized innovative technology, as noted in the 2019 OpFlow article. We utilized satellite leak detection to do a pilot test in a known trouble area. And that technology found about 156 potential leaks in this small area for ground crews to go out and investigate. And the estimated water loss that was found was about 280,000 gallons per day. So from out of this world technology to man's best friend, CAW also has the nation's first leak detection canine. And I promise you that John and I probably have the coolest coworker. Vessel is a female rescue dog who uses her keen sense of smell to detect treated water to find leaks.
She's been highly trained to detect chlorine, which allows her to differentiate between ground and treated water. As you can see behind me, she's alerting on a CA water that's been hidden in the leaves. And then she likes doing this work, and as you see here too, the aerial photo shows her working and alerting on an active leak. You can see how she's running around, she's really enjoying herself. But Vessel isn't just a working dog, she has also become an amazing ambassador for CAW, and she would love it if you would follow her Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So all that work doesn't matter if we don't have good results. So we've tracked Vessel's work in the field with Cityworks, and we can tell you that has a 97% positivity rating in her findings.
We also utilize GPS trackers on company vehicles, and I know a lot of other folks do as well. And we're able to consume that in using feature services to bring into our ArcMap documents and our web map applications, including this is our Cityworks map that you see here. Really helps making routing trucks to emergencies easier. We save time and money that way, and allows for safer driving habits to have everything right there in the map.
Now, as I'm sure all of you know, aging infrastructure is an issue across all utilities. And proactive action is always better than reactive action. CAW has been able to leverage our extensive GIS and Cityworks work order data to create a solution to empower decision makers to make informed, proactive choices. Then, again, this was a totally in-house solution. Condition scores were calculated based off Cityworks work order history, main condition reports, and GIS data such as soil corrosivity, main age, and material. Criticality scores were calculated based off of number and type of customers affected by a hypothetical break. Historic work order cost and estimated replacement cost were calculated for each main segment. What resulted is a GIS layer that is used by our COO, engineering department, and distribution to allow for more informed planning. Condition score, number of breaks, and other pertinent information is at their fingertips, which is driving a more efficient and straightforward main replacement process.
we've recently started utilizing Trimble's Unity remote monitoring to help detect pressure drops in troubled areas in our system. And our expectation is to expand the use of these monitors and utilize the data that comes from the recorders in customized reports. Now, we could talk all day just how we're utilizing GIS at Cityworks, but we really can't because they gave us a time limit. But starting with some GIS analysis in the upper right to help plan expanded water service in unserved areas. And then the next one, when the pandemic first started, CAW made the decision that we were going to turn on water to all of those customers that had their water shut off for failure to pay, because we all know just how important and vital a resource that water is. So with the use of Cityworks Safe Searches, we were able to pull those locations, because we tracked those shutoffs, into an ArcGIS Online web app that was used by non-traditional field personnel, non-traditional GIS users to assist with these turn-ons. Even our CEO went out and was helping turn on meters. We also created a lightweight web app that could be used on any mobile device for meter readers to be able to come in and find locations of meters very quickly and easily. And just recently, we've gone live with Esri's water outage solution to handle all of our water outages. And hopefully we'll be able to use this to help notify customers of outages, potential future work orders that we're going to be having in neighborhoods and areas like that. So that's kind of our big plan for notifications.
But we still have a lot to do. There are several other departments that we want to begin using Cityworks. We have several tasks and processes that we feel need to be automated, and more integrated systems are high priorities on our to-do list.
So as you can see, Central Arkansas Water's embraced GIS and Cityworks, and not just in a basic deployment, but we've made it a key business decision maker. With the use of GIS, Cityworks, and other Trimble solutions, it's going to allow us to continue to empower others with high-quality data and look for new innovative solutions to everyday problems. Thank you.
Sorry, I was just finishing my Facebook message to Vessel. But what a great story, and so many innovative ideas. John and Alex, thank you both. Next, I'll hand it over to our colleague, Stefan Winkler of Structon Rail, who made the journey from Sweden to tell us more about the great work Structon does. But before he comes out, let's take a look at a video.
Det börjar med oss, vårt arbete. Det kan vara hårt ibland, tidiga morgnar och sena nätter. Men sånt stör oss inte. Med hög kompetens och lång erfarenhet och styrkan hos närmare 1000 skickliga kollegor är vi verksamma på järnväg, tunnelbanor och spårvägar i hela Sverige. Med hållbarhet som grund, säkerhetstänk och utveckling i fokus så är vi med och bidrar till ett mer hållbart samhälle varje dag. Vi ser till att du kan ta dig dit du vill. Från öst till väst, norr till söder, i storstäder och landsbygd. Du kanske inte ser oss, men vi finns här och vi gör det vi gör. För din skull. Structon Rail.
Well, thank you, George. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stefan Winkler. I'm the head of asset management at Structon Rail in Sweden. And I will now briefly explain to you how we utilize Cityworks, FME, and GIS to digitize our maintenance process. As you might have guessed from the movie here, we are a private contractor within the railway industry. We're both building new and maintaining existing infrastructure. We belong to a Dutch corporation with business throughout Europe. In contrast to the US, most of the railway infrastructure in Sweden is state-owned. There are some local commuter lines owned by municipalities like the Stockholm Metro, and there are some smaller privately owned freight lines, mostly connecting industrial areas with main lines. Well, that means for our business that we do not own any infrastructure. We just maintain it on the behalf of our customers. We do not own any asset data. We serve several clients who have their own database systems. And common among all our clients is that they require extensive amounts of documentation. So with all that in mind, and the fact that our business in total was growing, we became increasingly aware of the need of digitizing and streamlining our processes. As of 2019, our overall maintenance process looked like this. It starts with ordering, which originates from the contract, inspection remarks, failure reports, and so on. The work orders are then planned, scheduled, and handed over to our field workers. The work is executed and documented, both by the field workers and their foremen. The documentation serves as input to our client invoices, and finally, there is an internal follow-up, both financially and from production and delivery perspective. So at that time, only the last two steps in the process were actually handled by database systems. The rest was handled using Microsoft Office, paperwork, and local standalone solutions. And then clients had their own applications, but at that time, we hadn't any means to connect to them. So looking at this, we realized there had to be some change. But before running off to the closest ERP seller, we took a broader perspective and first defined and decided on a vision. And especially with respect to the geographical distribution of our offices and field workers, all the information must be digitized. We cannot cope with paperwork anymore. Secondly, every data is registered only once. We cannot afford to enter the same data 2 or 3 times. It's entered once and then transferred to wherever it is needed. Thirdly, we strive for as much automation as possible to not burden our staff with activities that are not adding any value. Well, with that as a starting point, we began shopping around for the best fitting software tool for digitizing and streamlining all activities throughout the entire maintenance process. And not surprisingly, we decided to go for a combination of Cityworks, FME, and ArcGIS. The process now looks still the same, but now we cover the remaining aspects. So to start with, Cityworks is a standard application, and we use it in the same way as all of you, I would guess. What we have added are a number of integrations and automations. It starts with importing work orders and assets from our clients' applications. Depending on the nature of that data, we get this either in real time or less frequent. Then during the planning stage, we use Cityworks Action Manager to automate the addition of data to work orders, like responsible supervisor, technical, and contract information. So that this information is already available in Cityworks, but it's not connected to the specific work order. So the Action Manager allows us actually to fill in the data. Once the work order planning is complete, there's another integration which transfers it to the ERP, where it is needed later on in the process for the customer invoicing. As part of the execution, our field workers need, besides other information, register the start and the end time of the work. So we built an automation using FME that calculates automatically the exact or the correct hourly rate to be invoiced to the client. Since that is depending both on the time per day when the work is executed, whether it's a weekday, weekend, holiday. The documentation step was streamlined by 2 more FME automations. One is automatically creating documents from work order data in Cityworks, and the other one is generating XML files that contain invoicing data. And last but not least, we have 4 more integrations that make sure to transfer the data onto our ERP, timesheet application, several client applications, and last but not least, our own data warehouse and analysis tool. So this gives us a process that is pretty much completely digitized and automated, thanks to Cityworks, FME, and GIS. So if you find this interesting, then when you would like to find out more about our solution in detail, then I welcome you to my breakout session this afternoon, 3 p.m. in Ballroom J. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stefan, for sharing such a unique Cityworks story. Rail is a new frontier for Cityworks, and it's one that we're very much looking forward to supporting. So next up, we're going to hear from Esri themselves, as Matt Piper, Global Industry Director for Utilities and AEC, discusses Esri's thoughts on infrastructure in the age of digital transformation in the architecture, engineering, and construction space. Esri's committed to transforming how the public interfaces with GIS and how the public sector uses that technology to keep their citizens informed. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you as part of this great Cityworks conference. My name is Matt Piper, and I'm the Global Industry Solutions Director for Utilities and AEC at Esri, and I'm based out of our head office in Redlands, California. You may find it hard to believe, but Redlands, California is actually the coldest place I've ever lived in my life. So if you see me wandering outside, I'll most likely be the guy that's wearing my entire winter wardrobe, and I'll still be frozen. But in all seriousness, I'm glad to be here. And it's a pleasure to talk to you today on a topic that I'm pretty passionate about, which is applying the geographic approach for infrastructure. In this session, we're trying to discuss some of the opportunities and the challenges facing infrastructure organizations and how the GIS and this geographic approach is creating this modern, sustainable future that is enabled by the power of location and what we call geospatial thinking. As you're most likely aware, Esri provides many solutions, managing many of the global challenges that organizations are facing. Things like climate change, unemployment, social equity, overpopulation, and of course, most recently, the work we did with the COVID-19 pandemic. But as you know, the challenges facing your infrastructure-focused organizations, they're not independent upon the issues that are being faced at a global scale. Your organizations are required to adapt to these increasing challenges, but at the same time, it's also providing us with many new opportunities. Opportunities to innovate. Fortunately, we're at a Cityworks Innovate conference, but it's also a way to apply and adopt these new technologies to change and modernize many of your business processes. This business transformation is being driven by a number of key drivers. When we look at these drivers for change, I sort of see it broken down into three main areas. There is the planned. This is more of the traditional challenges that your organizations are facing. This is the stuff we've been trying to solve for many years. Things like aging infrastructure, the aging workforce, it's the smart grid and IoT deployments, or even the OT and IT convergence, or even something as foundational or simple as improving your data quality. Next, I think about the unknown, or really the unplanned challenges. These are things like emergency response and preparedness, which includes things like your natural disaster events like wildfires, floods, hurricanes, or earthquakes. But there are also the changing policies or the regulations or the commitments to things like the energy transition or the goals or even the impacts, as I said, to COVID-19. This unknown or this forced work used to equate to about 10% of your annual work plan. But what we're seeing more and more is the fact that it's actually moving to about 20 to 25% of your annual work plans now. And finally, the third trend we're seeing is the rapid advancements in technologies and that your organizations are having to adapt and implement. The continued pressure to improve efficiencies, manage these modern grids or networks, and optimize your operations are resulting in many organizations looking for new solutions. Now, these solutions are to help solve both your previous challenges, but also ensure that you're being set up for the future success. So to keep pace with these emerging needs for modern solutions, we've seen this rapid adoption on the deployment of ArcGIS or GIS solutions. GIS is transforming infrastructure organizations as we see it being used for all aspects of infrastructure management, from your asset management to your operations management to managing modern networks and all the project delivery and construction workflows. All these applications of GIS become more and more significant to the daily operations of mission-critical activities within your organization. And likewise, so does the need for your GIS system to be reliable and highly performant. Let's start by working through some of these examples. Let's start with asset management. Now, GIS has long been an essential part of establishing asset management programs for utilities. And over the past few decades, with the constant need to do more with less resources, many organizations have strived to improve efficiencies in these work plans. To do this, though, is not just a measure of the potential failures or risk. To truly understand why an asset is failing and optimize these maintenance plans, you need to correlate it to where it is. For example, let's look at an electric utility. Think about steel poles near the coastline. They're more prone to rust. Now, if you look at conductors in a high wind area, they're more prone to clashing. And a wood pole in a fire zone, more prone to getting burnt, but that exact same wood pole, if it's close to water, is more prone to rot. By understanding where your asset is and the surrounding environmental factors can greatly improve your maintenance and your forecasted planning. But the use of modern GIS has recently accelerated across many other areas of asset management. It is used to plan your asset inspections, to capture defects and the conditions. And many organizations are now using GIS to spatially visualize their current operational and capital investment plans. So to better understand your forecasting and programs of work and understand where these conflicts exist within your CapEx and OpEx plans, this is a way to optimize these maintenance programs. But we're also seeing now how GIS is going indoors, allowing for full inspections of not only your office and your corporate buildings, but also within things like your zone substations or your water treatment facilities as well. This allows you to route assets more efficiently, monitor the status of equipment in real time, but also perform things like space management and optimize your floor plans. And finally, one of the fastest adoptions of GIS has come from the significant advancements that we're seeing in vegetation management. Vegetation management is one of the most expensive maintenance programs that exist for many utilities and organizations. We need to keep the right-of-ways and corridors clear of this vegetation. Solutions like the new vegetation management application from Trimble and Esri really do manage the entire life cycle of vegetation management, from performing your flight plans of your drones, capturing the imagery and LiDAR, storing this information, managing this and processing this data, then finally analyzing this data at a scale with machine learning and AI. To automate much of this work, which was previously manual and desktop-based. As the adoption of GIS continues to grow beyond just our design and mapping, we see GIS being used in more operational use cases. In the control room, operators are bringing in their GIS data to improve their real-time decision-making. GIS is used to assist operators in scheduling and dispatch, knowing what is happening and where, providing this accurate situation awareness. Bringing in these live data feeds such as weather, traffic, crew locations, in conjunction to where the equipment or nearest isolation point is, can greatly assist in optimizing your response times. Another significant benefit of a modern GIS is taking the GIS to the field. There are now many GIS-based mobile solutions providing a number of mobile applications which are designed to integrate complex data from your enterprise systems and bringing in those capabilities to capture and edit data in a timely manner. Putting the right data in the hands of field workers is essential to improving data quality and improving safety in the field. With over 50% of many organizations working in the field, the use of GIS to optimize routing, navigation, data capture, when performing inspections and maintenance creates this significant improvement in your operational efficiencies. Next, I want to talk about network management. It is recognized that many of our networks we have today were not designed in the way with the technologies that are currently managing them as they were originally designed. We need to manage a modern grid with a modern network management system. The ArcGIS Utility Network is the next generation network management technology from Esri, which was purposely built to take your organizations forward on your digital transformation journeys and to meet the demands of today's and tomorrow's networks. The utility network can be summarized really into three main areas. It has the most advanced network modeling on the market. This information model is robust and highly configurable, and it allows you to manage from the generation all the way down to the customer. It also can model across resources, things like your electric, your gas, your telecom, and your district energy. The second point is that it has world-class integrated visualization and analytics. Out of the box, the utility network is 3D enabled, which allows organizations to bring to life their networks, creating interactive digital twin models of their network and assets. It is also possible to aggregate and report dynamically based on event conditions, providing accurate and timely reporting for both current, historic, and future outcomes. And finally, it is a services-based architecture and security, which allows you to control access and provide business rules in a way that can improve your data quality and ensure that it is a secure manner supporting both on-premise and cloud computing infrastructures. It solves the challenges of today, and it meets the demands of the future by interconnecting your systems and creating relationships, and most importantly, streamlining workflows from this single source of truth. Next, I want to move to project management. One of the more innovative and exciting advancements is how we're applying GIS to streamline the project delivery lifecycle throughout the build, design, operate, and maintain. One of the most common issues that I have found with utilities is this long backlog of as-constructed designs that create significantly delays in keeping essential systems up to date. GIS now provides solutions throughout all phases of project delivery, streamlining these workflows. It provides tools to capture the terrain, capture the environments, the building surrounds, and it integrates into complex designs, including BIM. In addition, GIS also allows you to enhance your project tracking and progresses with 4D and 5D, with the additions of time and cost integrating into the simple to manage and analytics and dashboards. It is now also possible to integrate with project planning systems to align project timelines and deliverables with detailed designs. And finally, GIS is breaking down those silos in project delivery, things that Cindy spoke about, by enabling the handoff of all stakeholders with access to information through sharing and collaboration, which improves transparency, it reduces this duplication of work, and it prevents this loss of data. I now want to introduce you to the terminology and applications that I mentioned at the start on a geographic approach. Now, a geographic approach is critical to addressing the life cycle of modern infrastructure organizations. It is a way of thinking and problem solving that integrates geography, science, and information. And from my experience, people just understand things better when they see it spatially. Do you agree? Yeah. We inherently can comprehend and understand really complex data sets with ease using this geospatial thinking. This approach is already used and impacting you in your daily lives, but transforming modern utilities and organizations. We now need to apply it to every department in your organizations and every community in our society. The geographic approach is a framework for understanding and applying our knowledge for better understanding of our social, our economic, and our environmental impacts. It organizes and integrates all factors, illuminating patterns, and discovers new relationships. We're now dealing with really complex and sensitive data sets, which are not often owned by your organization. But these data sets need to be brought into our decision-making in all aspects of our work. And this may require changes to many of your standard operating procedures that have been done the same way for many years within your organization. But moving forward, we must take into consideration how we are managing and operating in a manner to improve our sustainability, resiliency, and equity. Now I'm going to go off script a bit because I wanted to share a story that I was thinking about out the back. I recently finally got to go back to Australia. It's been 4 years because of COVID. And on the way home, after seeing all the family, we had to stay at the hotel close to the airport, and because we had a really early flight, which means you've got to get there at like 7 a.m., so we needed to get there at 5. And we stayed at this little hotel. It wasn't very expensive. So I've got 2 kids. Does anyone else have kids? Mine are 15 and 17. And right now I'm convinced they've made a sport about making me feel old. This is what their job in life is. So when we checked out of this hotel, we've come downstairs, we got all of our luggage, and we traveled overseas with 2 kids and the wife, and so we got bags everywhere. And there was no one at the front counter. It was too early. There was no checkout. It was like, just drop your key in the box. And next to the box was this button, call for a taxi. I went, oh, I remember this is awesome. So I explained to my kids that this is how it's done. Press the button and the taxi comes. So I pressed the button and it says, thank you, taxi dispatched. Now, it was like a really cold 70 degrees and a little bit drizzly outside. So we waited a couple of minutes inside, and then I've taken the whole family out to the street and we stood there. And it'd been about 5 minutes, and my wife looks at me and she goes, is the taxi coming? I said, I don't know. I pressed the button. And my kid's going, does this really work, Dad? I said, this is how it was done. This is efficient. The taxi's coming. And it was about the 10-minute mark that I noticed that right now, things are not going well with me and my family. And my daughter just turns around and she pulls out her phone, opens up the Uber app, downloads the Uber. She goes, Dad, it'll be here in 2 minutes. And about then, this became a sport for me. Like, I'm praying that this taxi came around the corner, I beat this Uber. It didn't. So I lost completely. But it was like one of those moments. Oh, hang on, the best part. We get in the taxi. My wife's no longer talking to me because she's now drizzly, cold, wet, upset. And my son turns to me and he goes, Dad, in the olden days, is that how you really used to call a taxi? You know it's always going to end well when they start the sentence with that. But it got me thinking at the time about how just native our teenage kids, or our kids in general, think spatially, everything they do. She got on the app, she clicked the Uber, she knew exactly where it was, how long it was going to be there. This spatial element into solving many simple workflows is just inherent in the youth coming through today. And I think that same mindset needs to be applied to a lot of the work we do within our organizations as well. But it's a true story, and yes, they do make me feel old all the time. But back to the script. As more organizations are looking to adopt and use environmental, social, and their governance criteria to align their work with the United Nations sustainability goals, we think about this geographic approach and how imperative it's going to be creating these sustainable networks for the energy, the transportation, the water, and telecommunications. With a geographic approach, decision makers can reduce the negative outcomes in their communities, including the harmful emissions, the loss of biodiversity, and other threats to our environment. So we see GIS being used to understand where to place things like green energy solutions at the generation level, but also at the customer level and the customer choices that they make for solar potential analysis or other incentive programs. As more customers are purchasing electric vehicles, we see GIS being used to assess the impacts to our networks and our grids and determine where EV charging stations are required. We see GIS being used to monitor the ESG goals, providing the required data sets as part of the Living Atlas and key indicators for the planet to track the progress as we monitor the climate change. When we think about resilience, around the world, we are seeing significant investments to modernize and make the infrastructure of today more resilient. A modern organization needs to be resilient against many threats. They need to be resilient against natural disasters that are happening now at a higher frequency and a higher ferocity than ever before. They need to be resilient to cyber attacks, which are at a higher level now with the increased rollout of digital technologies. And they need to be resilient to the impacts of what a modern grid or network will be in the future. Being able to adapt to changes from large-scale things like electric vehicles or distributed energy resources and other disruptive technologies is going to be critical moving forward. While not all these potential threats of infrastructure can be designed out, they can be prepared for so that you can better respond and recover faster, ensuring any disruptions are as minimal as possible. Communities must now have the capacity to mitigate this risk and recover quickly. This resilience supports positive economic, social, and environmental outcomes. And we see GIS technology as the enabler and leaders to visualize these impending threats and likely impacts on people, facilities, assets, supply lines, and minimizing the impacts to your employees, your customers, and our communities. Now, many communities are prioritizing the undeniable connection between essential services of our transportation, energy, clean water, and telecommunications. And as such, equity is now being considered as one of the key prioritizations in many infrastructure organizations. Investment programs and grants are addressing historical injustices, and communities are putting our economic disadvantaged communities that are not being maintained or modernized. To determine and meet the energy demand that we're seeing, it will be imperative to consider each location in terms of the geographic conditions the infrastructure design, and the energy resources. While organizations in many regions struggle to adapt to many of this new technology, take into consideration about 13% of the global population still lacks access to electricity. Organizations are being challenged to design, build, and operate their networks in ways that must consider the social, economic, and environmental well-being. And to achieve this, GIS is being used for a number of things. We need to pinpoint where the greatest needs are by including these environmental and social equity parameters. We need to analyze plans and impacts, which identifies the demographic groups and the geographic locations with higher vulnerability and environmental and public health stresses. And finally, we need to maintain the transparency and provide engagement to communities. We are now seeing that many of the workflows are bringing equity analysis into the core decision-making and planning. Another example of in electric utility we just saw a couple of weeks ago was that they are now asking the questions, are our annual planned outages and capital programs being done in an equitable way? Think about that. When you restore power, are you restoring power in an equitable way? For many organizations, this is a really big challenge, but this is where we start seeing GIS being essential. It provides all the many layers of data from our social justice, our sensor data, our diversity, that can be integrated into your workflows to better understand these interconnected relationships. Organizations that are managing modern grids and other infrastructure cannot think about equity after the fact. It needs to be brought into the core business operations and our decision making. So we've covered a fair bit of technology. I just want to take a step back now and just reflect on, what do we actually see a modern GIS is and how it's transforming our organizations. It is transforming organizations, but it is also redefining what a modern GIS is. So let's take a step back and think about the role and the importance that GIS plays in your enterprise deployments. I think that everyone in the room can probably agree that GIS is no longer just your design or mapping tool, being performed by a singular department at a desktop level. A modern GIS is a system for mapping, sharing, and applying geographic information across your entire enterprise. It is a content management system that also provides you access to millions of layers of data from the Living Atlas. It is a complete system for your imagery management. It is the integrated design and planning workflows. It is your business intelligence system. It is mobile, and it is your platform for engaging with customers and communities. And it provides this world-class capability to manage and model assets and networks both outside and now indoor plant. But one of the biggest values of a modern GIS deployment is the role it plays in integrating all types of data, and it makes them available and immediately usable. Location is the ultimate integrator, as everything is connected in some way to the surface of the Earth. It brings together many different information sets from things like your LiDAR, your CAD, your BIM, your real-time, your tabular, your unstructured data, and more recently, your graph engine relationships. All this data is brought together and made available in apps and maps as geospatial services. And it is these services and the accelerated deployment of maps and apps within your organization that have made the GIS an enterprise system, which is now supporting hundreds of interconnected workflows, empowering many forms of collaboration and communication. It is pervasive from the GIS professional to the field, to the executive boardroom, and it is providing timely and accurate information to public and external stakeholders. One of the powers of GIS that it creates these relationships is how it's being now applied into digital twins. As I said, everything has a location, so location becomes the key to integrate these siloed solutions and allows for modeling of the complete life cycle. Data capture and integration is foundational to creating a digital twin. It is about being able to model the data, capture it, integrate it, and then manage it into associated attributes and behaviors throughout the entire life cycle. Next is about bringing the data to life, taking this information and creating a better understanding on what is happening now. It is about creating real-time situation awareness, combined with advanced visualization capabilities to virtually represent how the physical components are operating in the real world. But as you know, digital twins have evolved. They move beyond just understanding the current state. They are about understanding the past and predicting the future, being able to simulate and forecast these expected outcomes, as well as automating the decision-making process. And finally, digital twins need to be pervasive. They need to be accessible on the desktop, on your mobile, and also made available to both internal and external stakeholders. When we talk digital twins, it's about sharing and collaboration of information to make better business decisions. Let's take a moment to think about how all this comes together in your organization. There is so much technology. There's so much to see on the expo floor. There's so much technology you're going to hear about in this week. And all this capability and how your organizations can sometimes, it can be overwhelming in understanding where to get started and how to make all this work together. A way to think about this is that it all comes together as an interconnected network of systems and apps that come together to help solve your business challenges. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time today. I hope this has been informative, at least a laugh at least, and helped you understand some of the ways that GIS can help you solve many of the business challenges that you face in your organizations. And when you think about how you go about solving some of these challenges to create this sustainable, equitable, and resilient future, remember, geography matters, your work matters, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Matt, for taking the time to speak with us about Esri's digital infrastructure vision across the asset lifecycle.
Okay, everyone. As you all know, each conference, we recognize organizations that are going above and beyond to ensure that the communities they serve are being taken care of in an exemplary manner. We'd like to congratulate this year's winners.
Those of you that are here from these communities or organizations, please stand up when your name is called so that we can give you a round of applause. And then at the end of the plenary, please meet over here to the side so we can go ahead and take pictures with everyone. So let's do it. For excellence in departmental practice, Evansville Water and Sewer Utility, Indiana. City of Flagstaff, Arizona. Global Water Resources of Arizona, and City of Allen Park, Michigan. For excellence in enterprise practice, City of Akron, Ohio. City of Carmel, Indiana. City of Rexburg, Idaho. Pinellas County, Florida. Village of Schaumburg, Illinois. City of Kawartha Lakes, Ontario. And the City of Prince George, British Columbia. For excellence in online practice, City of Suffolk, Virginia. City of Collinsville, Illinois. And City of Morro Bay, California. Let's give all of our 2022 award winners a round of applause.
Okay, and please stay standing, because last but not least, we'd also like to recognize last year's Cityworks Innovate Award winners. If you see your name, please stand, and thank you all for the hard work and service you have invested in your communities. Well done. Let's give all these winners a big round of applause.
So today kicks off a full day of breakouts and training. Please take advantage of the lunches in the expo hall, the social this evening, and the numerous networking opportunities. And don't forget to stop by our partners' booth to learn more about their solutions. Their support makes this conference possible. Have a wonderful day exploring the conference. We look forward to speaking with many of you and seeing you back here tomorrow. Thank you all.
Have a good conference.